in order to have the lengthy life that Jaws has, it has to provide some kind of an emotional experience for an audience. And the emotional experience provided by Jaws, I mean, who doesn't like Bambi, you know? Bambi goes on forever. Snow White goes on forever. Jaws goes on forever.
Roy Scheider was a beloved actor, best known for his iconic roles in blockbuster films like Jaws and The French Connection. His rugged good looks, everyman appeal, and immense talent made him one of the most recognizable leading men of the 70s and 80s. Sadly, Scheider passed away in 2008 at age 75 after a long battle with a devastating disease. Join Facts First as we present Roy Scheider's cause of death at 75 was utterly tragic. Early life. Roy Richard Scheider was born November 10, 1932, in Orange, New Jersey, to an Irish Catholic mother named Anna and a German Protestant father named Roy Scheider, who worked as an auto mechanic. As a child, Roy was an avid athlete. He competed in organized baseball and also took up boxing, fighting as a welterweight at around 140 pounds. He attended Columbia High School in Maplewood, New Jersey, graduating in 1950. That same year, he competed in the Diamond Gloves boxing tournament in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Although Roy said he took up boxing primarily to lose weight and had no strong desire to fight, his trainer, Georgie Ward, encouraged him to compete. In his second ever bout at the 1946 Diamond Gloves, he suffered a broken nose and lost by technical knockout to Myron Greenberg. But he went on to post an impressive amateur record of 11 wins and 1 loss, with 6 wins by knockout. Scheider later avenged his defeat to Greenberg. After high school, Scheider traded in his boxing gloves to study drama at both Rutgers University and Franklin and Marshall College, where he was a member of the Phi Kappa Psi fraternity. He served 3 years in the U.S. Air Force as a first lieutenant in air operations from 1955 to 58. He then became a captain in the Air Force Reserve Command until 64. Early acting career.
I like to clown around, and strangely enough, in my theatrical background before the films, I did mostly comedy parts. Really? It's what I did when I was in college. It's what I did in stock. I played all kinds of silly roles.
Scheider's first film role came in the low-budget horror movie The Curse of the Living Corpse in 1964. He took on several roles in television soap operas like Love of Life and The Secret Storm in the 60s. In 1968, Scheider won an Obie Award for his performance in the play Stephen D. with the New York Shakespeare Festival. Scheider's career gained momentum in the early 70s. He had notable supporting parts in 2 major films in 1971, Clute and The French Connection. Scheider's performance as New York City detective Buddy Cloudy Russo in The French Connection, a character based on real-life detective Sonny Grosso, earned Scheider a Best Supporting Actor nomination. Breakout role in Jaws.
One of the reasons why it takes such a long time to make a picture like Jaws is because it's not the time it takes to take the take that takes the time. It's the time it takes between the takes that takes the time that takes the take.
Roy Scheider's most iconic and career-defining role came in 1975 when he was cast as Police Chief Martin Brody in Steven Spielberg's blockbuster thriller Jaws. Set in the fictional New England resort town of Amity Island, being terrorized by a giant man-eating great white shark, the film focuses on Brody's efforts to protect beachgoers and hunt down the shark, along with a marine biologist, played by Richard Dreyfuss, and a professional shark hunter, played by Robert Shaw. Scheider brought an everyman quality to the role of small-town police chief Brody, an outsider to Amity Island who takes his duty to protect the public seriously, even as town officials attempt to downplay the shark threat. He uttered one of the film's most famous lines, ad-libbing, "You're gonna need a bigger boat," after his character comes face to face with the enormous shark while on the water. Notable roles in the late 70s.
Outer space.
I hope so. Is this all there is? I mean, can't you believe that there's got to be miracles happening like this life in some other parts of the universe? I hope so.
Scheider followed up on the success of Jaws with several other high-profile roles in the 70s that cemented his status as one of the top leading men of the era. In 1976, he starred as the secret agent Doc Levy in the thriller Marathon Man alongside Dustin Hoffman and Laurence Olivier. In '77, he reunited with French Connection director William Friedkin for the action-adventure film Sorcerer, portraying one of 4 outcasts from around the globe who take on a dangerous mission to transport crates of volatile dynamite through the South American jungle. While the film was a box office disappointment, it's gone on to develop a cult following. He delivered one of his most acclaimed performances in 1979's All That Jazz, directed by legendary choreographer Bob Fosse. He played a character based on Fosse himself, Joe Gideon, a womanizing, pill-popping Broadway choreographer and filmmaker trying to balance mounting professional stress with his deteriorating health. His work on the film earned him his 2nd Oscar nomination, this time for Best Actor. 1980s. After peaking in the late 70s, Scheider's career cooled off a bit in the 80s, though he still appeared in a number of notable movies. He starred in the action thriller Blue Thunder as a Vietnam veteran helicopter pilot caught in the middle of an experimental helicopter weapons program. In '84, he played Dr. Haywood Floyd in 2010, The Year We Make Contact, director Peter Hyam's sequel to Stanley Kubrick's seminal sci-fi epic 2001, A Space Odyssey. While Scheider was stepping in for William Sylvester, many praised Scheider's performance as a highlight of the sequel. Other 80s credits for Scheider include the 1986 crime drama 52 Pickup, 1986 psychological horror film The Men's Club, the legal thriller Listen to Me, and the 1990 spy film The Russia House with Sean Connery and Michelle Pfeiffer. In '93, he transitioned to television in a big way by taking on the lead role of Steven Spielberg's ambitious sci-fi adventure series Sequest DSV. He starred as Captain Nathan Bridger, the principled commander of a futuristic submarine tasked with keeping underwater colonies safe in the mid-21st century. The show was an initial hit in its first season, but the series took on a more fantasy-oriented tone in season 2, which Scheider vocally objected to. His criticism made headlines at the time. After heavy retooling and recasting for a 3rd season, Scheider opted to leave the series, though he fulfilled his contract by making occasional guest appearances. Later career and personal life. Some of Roy's most notable moments in the 90s and 2000s include a ruthless mob boss in the 1993 crime thriller Romeo is Bleeding, the corrupt CEO of an insurance company in John Grisham's adaptation The Rainmaker, and the father of Marvel Comics vigilante Frank Castle in The Punisher. Scheider made occasional returns to the stage too, starring in a 1980 production of Harold Pinter's Betrayal and a 2001 off-Broadway production of The Exonerated. His distinctive voice could also be heard narrating episodes of TV series like Family Guy and documentaries like 2006's The Shark is Still Working, which reflected on the legacy of Jaws. On the personal front, Scheider married Cynthia Bebeau in 1962. They had one daughter, Maximilia, before divorcing in 1986. In '89, he married actress Brenda Seymour, with whom he had a son, Christian, and adopted a daughter, Molly. They remained together until his death. Cancer diagnosis and treatment. In 2004, Scheider was diagnosed with a cancer of the blood and bone marrow called multiple myeloma. In 2005, he underwent an autologous stem cell transplant in which his own stem cells were used. He was treated at Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital in New York City. In an appearance on the Today Show while discussing his battle, Scheider movingly expressed his gratitude, saying, quote, "Every single day, it's a miracle." Sadly, despite years of fighting, Scheider passed away February 10, 2008. He was 75. According to his wife Brenda, the cause of death was complications from a staph infection. The infection proved deadly as it spread to his blood and organs while his immune system was weakened from myeloma. In 2022, 14 years after his death, Scheider made a surprising return to the big screen in the posthumously released film Beautiful Blue Eyes. Director Joshua Newton used AI technology to complete an unfinished pivotal scene Scheider was unable to film before his passing. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite Roy Scheider performance or role? Let us know in the comment section below.